All right, welcome back, eSIM Studios. Now, this I had a viewer request. I did a benchmark with Geekbench the other day and showed the scores, both the CPU benchmark and the GPU benchmark on on Geekbench 6. And showed you those scores. Now, again, I'm going to repeat myself. I typically don't base my opinions of a device from these scores, just because it doesn't tell you the whole story behind the device as far as what they're trying to do with it. Again, this one's not going to blow you away with performance, right? But it's geared toward and it's tuned like an automobile. It's tuned for machine learning for AI. Now, a subscriber or viewer said, "Hey, can you do 3Dmark?" And obviously I was like, "Well, sure." And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever done a 3Dmark benchmarking test on a phone. I remember doing one on a PC, but not on a phone. So I was like, well, yeah, sure. So I ran a bunch of these tests. Now, I was going to record me doing these tests, but some of these tests are like 20 minutes long. So I was like, it'll take like a whole hour. So I was like, you know, screw it. Let me just do the test. And then it saves the scores, which I'm going to review with you right now. And then I'll just record the records of what this got. Now, this is the white Pixel 8 Pro. It has 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. This blue one has got 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. I ran the test on this one because this is my test device, and this one is my personal device. And I have more apps on and stuff like that, but this one right here, I didn't have time to run it on here. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was like, well, this is the test device, so we're going to run it on here. Both specs are the same. This one just has less memory. Should not affect the scores or anything. So it would have been the same basically on any of them. So I think I ran tests on all of these, right? I got them on all these tests that are up here, stress tests and all that stuff. I'm going to go through. I'm not going to, well, let's see. I think I ran tests on all of them. You can look at the scores and the performance if you need to pause the video to either screenshot the scores or to compare them to any other device. Please be my guest. Let's see what we have here. So, whoops. So let's see. Let's go to my results. Well, first let's show you my device. Pixel 8 Pro. It's on Android 14. And performance snapshot. See how this device compares with other phones. So on the wildlife extreme stress test, see how many they got. They just have slingshot extreme. So this is the most strenuous test right here. So this one scored a 2,197. Now the Q3 2023 average means in quarter 3, meaning the second half of 2023, the average score for, I guess, all phones tested was 2272. So this came in a little bit under the average phone. And let's see, what is this? 17. So it scored a 2197 and a 1706. So this one scored just over the average. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two. Let's see. Performance range. Performance by iOS version. And we have the specs here. You got the Tensor G3, 3 gigahertz. And you got the Mali G715. As you can tell, it's got 12 gigs of RAM. Now, let me go through there's the OpenGL. Vulkan, no data. Looks like it's basically the same for all of them. There we go. So we got maxed out. Maxed out. So that was the, let's see. Let me click. Again, I'm not I'm not familiar with this testing, but I am. Those of you that are interested, I'm basically showing you what this phone did. So I won't pretend and try to blabble on like I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to these certain scores, like I said, I'm just not familiar. I'm more familiar with the stupid Geekbench ones, and I guess I still need to do at&t. But this is the 3Dmark for mobile devices. I need to test my S23 Ultra, and then maybe we'll compare it with these scores. So this is the... Oh, sweet. So let's see, Slingshot. Your best score 7011 is better than 32% of results for this model. Okay. So now let's go to results. Get you some more scores here. So, with the wildlife stress test, got a score, best loop score of 7954, the lowest loop score, of 5286. Wildlife extreme scored a 2301 in the Vulcan test, and the wildlife scored 7994 on the Vulcan. Slingshot maxed out. Wildlife Extreme 2340. Didn't I already do that one? Wildlife Extreme. Yeah, so I accidentally ran. I was making sure that I was getting all these tests, so I think I ran one or two twice. Wildlife Extreme 2301. Wildlife Extreme 2340. So this one scored a little better. And then Wildlife 7186. Let's see if there's another Wildlife 7186. Wow, wait up. So this Wildlife here scored 7994 with the Vulcan. And this Wildlife scored 7186 with the Vulcan. So as you can tell, now this one might have scored a little less because this was the first run. And as it was going, it got warm. So there's a possibility that after running, I did like an hour worth of just testing, running hardcore this graphics that this uses to test. This one might have been when it was hotter and it scaled down the CPU. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that's why it was lower. So, wildlife, this is the lower wildlife score. Average frame rate 43.03. Your score versus popular devices. Your score is better than 99% of results from the Realme X7 Pro. Your score versus all devices better than 88% of the results from other devices. So, performance monitoring, temperature, frame rate 26 frames per second to 63 frames per second. And as you can tell, there's the battery and frame rate. I wonder if I can share these. I'll see if I can share the link to this, and I'll put them in the description so y'all can check them out. Those that are interested more in detail. So that was a wildlife. That was the worst score wildlife. So we did this one. Let me go up to wildlife. Let's do wildlife extreme. Then I'll do wildlife stress test. So let's check this one out. So this is not the highest performing phone. And if you want to see our Geekbench 6 test results, please go look at that video. It's we did that one just the other day. Very interesting results. This is more accurate as far as gameplay on here. So this one only got 9 frames per second to 18 frames per second. This is not the stress test. That's kind of what the our viewer wanted to check out. So we'll check that one out. Let's see. Let's go here. Here's the most important one, I believe. Best loop score, lowest loop score. Stability, 66.5. And then here's the stress test. See how performance changes under load. So we can see these scores here. I think it did 20 loops from what I understand. So you got it drops off as each loop goes on, it gets a little lower. Ended at 5286, started at 7954. Performance range. So it does look like it drops off. Now it was getting more warm as well. Let's look at performance monitoring. See, the battery is a little warmer than the last test. It was at like what, 30 to 32 Celsius, and this is the test that took like 25 minutes or so. And this, you can tell the temperature went from 36 degrees Celsius. How much is that? Let me get my other phone to 44 degrees Celsius. How hot is that? Let's see, 44 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yikes. It's 111 degrees. 44 Celsius to Fahrenheit equals 111. So look, it's a stress test. It's testing everything, right? It's testing how well the phone performs and or processor performs under a load. So the processor's ramped up. It's running all sorts of crazy graphics. And that's when your phone gets hot. Now, we were inside in air conditioning. But 111 is pretty warm. Now, that's normal. I guarantee you every phone. In fact, I'm going to test my S23 Ultra here. I guarantee you every phone gets over 100. Now, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, might catch on fire if you run the stress tests on it, but these Pixels did not. So that's a win, right? Battery frame rate. Temperature frame rate. As the temperature slightly goes up, the frame rate slowly drops down. That's normal. So you got these scores here, and again, I'll see if I can get a list of. Well, maybe not. I might send these. I'll save these sharing image. I'll save these scores. I'll put a link in the description box so you can click on the links, and then you'll have all this information right in front of you. So let's just look at this other one real quick. Which one do I need to do? I did the extreme twice, right? Wildlife extreme. Yeah, so the only other one was this, which maxed out, but this is for cheaper phones, because look, your Pixel 8 Pro is too powerful for this test. We recommend using Wildlife, which is what we just reviewed. But I'm assuming this slingshot's for more basic devices, because this is not the best, highest performing phone. So if this not highest performing phone is too much for the slingshot testing, then that means it's probably for the mid-range phones or even lower class phones, cheaper phones out there. But I'll put all this on the I'll put all this information out there for you regardless of what it is. So your first look here at Pixel 8 Pro with 3Dmark benchmarking tests. You got the scores here. Again, I'm going to link all this information in the description box. And if you got any questions, if you need me to test anything, check anything out, give me a holler. That's what I tested this one. A subscriber asked if I could run the test, and that's what I'm doing right. That's exactly what I did. So here's a good little view real quick of the other phones and what they scored. The Nubia is the highest. Interesting. So the S23, which we're recording on, got third highest, and it's not all that different. Look, 3861, 3724, and then the S23 Plus. So where does the Pixel fall? It says in A, but I just ran the test. Huh. And what did this score? Okay, so let's do it ourselves. If the highest scoring was 3861, and this is the Wildlife Extreme. Okay, so this one scored 2340. Wildlife Extreme, 2340. Wildlife Extreme. Oh, damn. It scored way lower. 2340. That would put it... Holy shit. $23.40. Would put it right here. 2340 would put it just above number 121. So it'd be number 120. No, I'm sorry, it would be 121. And then the OnePlus Ace 2V would be 122. Damn. Wow. Okay, well, it's not the highest performance. We knew that coming into this test. And, into this launch, we knew it was not going to be the most highest performing. That's why I said on the other review, if you're in it for gaming, get the S23 Ultra, right? This one is suitable for it, but if you are a hardcore gamer, if you play games every day, all day, or even light gaming, but if that's one of your top, 1, 2, 3 priorities is to have a good performing phone for gaming, this might not be the best phone for it. Look, it will do it, but as you can tell, it does drop off frame rate. S23 Ultra, money. Can't go wrong with that, especially if you're a gamer. But interesting to see what this Tensor G3 chip will do. And you just saw it. So if you got anything else you want me to check out, please let me know. And I'll review it for y'all. No problem. And we'll see y'all next time. I'm going to post the scores in the description box below. Peace out.